Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Okay, and we are back in the studio with the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, with my lovely hostess, my co-hostess with the mostest. This is Daphne Lynn. How you doing, Daphne?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing actually great.
That's
Like
good to
Bob
hear.
and the remember the What About Bob movie? I feel great. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful.
I feel good.
I
I
feel
feel great.
good.
I
I
feel
feel great. I
wonderful.
feel
Yes,
wonderful.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
me. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful.
Yes.
Well, we're going to pick back up. The other day, we had started some of the life reviews and kind of ran out of time. So we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off with that and go ahead and play some more life reviews and really listen to the common elements in these here. And keep in mind the life review. I love it. It happens to be my most favorite part of the actual out-of-body experience because I think it ties in with what a lot of us look at as judgment, although the actual life review is judgment-free. But you're going to be judging it yourself, from what I understand, and not like the way contemporary church and religion has taught us. Any comments?
Right. Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. I was just reading one of my other books about how, children have a non-judgmental, a lot of times, life review. But more the adults are the ones that have the sense feeling of judgment. And most of the time they are judging themselves.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense.
it's not most of the time someone else judging them, but them judging themselves.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into that. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and bring up the actual first clip, and we'll listen to it, and we'll go ahead and take some notes and see if we can break down and remember to look for these certain elements that the actual life review is comprised of. And we will analyze that and then bring that, the results to everyone's attention. How's that sound?
That sounds really good.
Okay,
Let's do
do it. All right. And we are rolling.
During her life review, she relived an event when she was 5 years old and teased another girl to the point of tears. Lorlyn then felt exactly what the other girl was feeling. Lorlyn realized how the girl needed love, nurturing, and forgiveness. Lorlyn then felt a love for this child that was so deep and tender, it was like the love between a mother and child. She realized that by hurting another person, she was only hurting myself. It was an experience oneness with everyone. Another event she relived was similar to the previous one. As a child, she made fun of a scrawny, malnourished asthmatic kid who eventually died from a cerebral aneurysm. The kid once wrote a love letter to her which she rejected. In her life review, she experienced his pain of being rejected. At the same time, she felt a tremendous amount of love for this boy and herself. Her life review connected her with him in a way that went beyond the physical. It was a connection that was felt at the level of the soul. She saw how the boy had a vibrant, bright light burning inside of him. She felt the strength of his spirit and vitality. It was an inconceivable moment, especially knowing how much he physically suffered when he was alive.
And we are back. That's kind of sad. It's really sad when you think about it, but it happens to so many of us in the real world. But you don't really know when you harm that other person, when you either physically, verbally, there is verbal abuse. You can say something to someone and really hurt them. So,
Yeah, I really like the way that she brought it out, that when you hurt others, you're really only hurting yourself.
it was revealed to her.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that oneness that so many NDEers experience is that oneness, and I like the way she brought that out. That it hurting others only hurts yourself.
Yeah.
And if we would look at life through that lens, I think we could all be a little better with our loving conditions. And
Yeah, and think about this. It said that she teased the little girl to tears, and all the little girl needed was love.
that's all any of us really need is love. Just all you need is love.
So she was able to feel her pain. Remember, that's part of the life review.
Exactly,
You get
that
plugged in
empathy that comes
to everyone
through.
that you've hurt and harmed in any kind of way. Anything that you've done to anybody, you're going to have to feel what they felt. And you're going to have to forgive things that people may have done to you.
This was
and
just being kids,
things you've done to
teasing each other.
yourself. Right.
She had to go back and feel that, I guess, as an adult now, because it's your whole life review. So it's going to be everything that you've done captured and have to experience.
Exactly. And what about the little asthmatic kid? That was
The little boy that wrote her the
sad,
letter,
sweet, yeah.
that's really cool. She said she saw
his
his-
pain
his-
of being rejected.
but his bright spirit.
But he had that vibrant, bright
Yeah.
spirit. Yeah.
Yes.
So that goes to show you can't judge a book by the cover. Any soul you see walking around, you don't know what that, what kind of spirit or what kind of soul that person really truly is.
Exactly. We just really have to remember that we're all needing love. We all are that spirit that, we all have that power within. No matter what our physical ailments may be or what we perceive as an ailment, that light that's within us is so much stronger than what our physical is.
Right. And it's like what she noticed in that little boy. Mm-hmm. She didn't see him as a little, handicapped guy.
Yeah.
She saw him as his spirit and his vitality, which was something way beyond the physical.
Yeah,
I thought that was beautiful.
Just hearing this story makes me think about, I went to school with a young guy, I think it was like maybe 5th or 6th grade, and he was an asthmatic, and he had an attack at school one time, and it was kind of scary, just seeing somebody really gasping, trying to breathe. So imagine what these people that have that go through.
I know, it's
Yeah,
it's
and
horrible.
it's sad. So
I've seen episodes as well. It's nothing to play with.
we never need to make fun of anybody.
No, because, it's just not nice. It's not the thing to do.
Yeah.
If anything, we should be helping each other and helping others who need our help. Everybody's not as fortunate as we are.
No, they're not. They're not at all.
So let's go ahead and take a listen to the next clip, okay?
Sounds good.
And we are rolling.
I had thoughts of my life and my failures and shame. I was told it was all unimportant. I was not going to be condemned. I was to live bravely knowing that God was taking care of me always, and I was shown events in my life where He saved me and protected me. I was shown how I worry and that it's all for nothing. I can't change and don't need to change anything in my life.
And we are back. Now, this one was had some pretty interesting. It's very short clips, just to kind of let everybody know. I know a lot of them on this particular episode. We're going to be doing more of them, but they're just shorter clips. As long as we keep everything within our time frame, we should be good. So, what were some of the things that you picked up on, Daphne?
Well, it was really quick, but one thing that really captured my attention was that she was shown things, events where she was saved and protected throughout her life. So that's divine protection right there.
Well, I'm going to chime in a little bit with you there. Back up a little bit where it says that she was told that everything was unimportant. Mm-hmm. All of life's failures and shames and all that she wasn't condemned for that. So many people, we feel that, oh God, we're such a rotten person, a horrible person. We did all this and did all that. And, in that world, from what I understand, all of that's irrelevant.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, all the worry that she was going through in her
It's
life
for
and
nothing.
all for nothing. I mean, so we really, it reminds me of, and I know I'm going to mention this a lot while I'm reading this book, but the Remember book, how we are to experience life. We are on Schoolhouse Earth. We are to experience. That's what our job is here, to experience life, to love, to laugh, to have hurt, to have failures, to just bring that back to the other side. And the spirit beings there get to experience with us. They're indifferent to it all. So we're really just judging ourselves. But
Good point. And that's kind of the stuff we're learning. So this whole episode, or actually the show per se, all of the episodes, but it's really opening my eyes with a lot of different things compared to a lot of the things I grew up and was indoctrinated with or being taught.
exactly,
And ever
me
since
too.
we started this
Yeah.
podcast and just really, because we've been into this for quite a while now. However, we just recently, started the podcast, and I love it because it's a way we can connect with others, and for those who want to share their stories, So, and we'll put a
Yes.
plug in for that here at the end of the episode, or sometimes at the beginning. But anybody that's had a NDE, we'd love to hear your story and share that on our show as well. So, speaking of, let's go ahead and go to the next clip. How's that sound?
Perfect.
All righty, and we are rolling.
I re-experienced every moment of my life in refined detail, including all feelings, thoughts, sounds, smells, people, loves, hates, anger, sorrow, fear, happiness, fun times, food, everything up until I was in the goldenness. It was as if I had again lived my life, but from the standpoint of a witness.
Okay, and we have another short one there. Like we hear in a lot of these life reviews, is you re-experience everything you've ever experienced before, every moment, and in such fine detail that you can't even comprehend. But not only that, but you're seeing it from so many different perspectives. We've heard it described as teacher and the student perspective, the first person perspective. Typically, it's the second person. You're usually standing back looking at it, but you're feeling their pain. I like here it's brought out. This one said that from the actual standpoint of a witness. So, how would you like to
Yeah,
comment on
exactly.
that?
Yeah, just the being someone else witnessing what was going on. Not necessarily judging herself or anything. But I'm hearing a lot about like a mist, just the light, the different aspects of that side of the realm as far as like the creator, the energy, the source. This one was a golden mist. Did you catch that, or did I just hear something?
I didn't catch it. No, I'm not going to say maybe you heard something. I mean, when we go back and play it, you'll tell whether or not you've heard something. And I know that she was naming so many things back to back,
Yeah.
back to back, back to back, and I didn't get to catch all the notes. It was
Yeah.
she was speaking pretty quick, so she may have mentioned something about
She
it.
was.
Going
If-
bad,
I
but
mean,
I
really
didn't hear it.
experiencing all feelings, every sense of emotion. I mean, food,
Yeah.
all your senses. She was experiencing everything in that life review. Everything. Not just life events, but physical senses as well.
Absolutely, and that is one of the things that the life review is really for. Is for that purging and to let you feel, what others have felt, whether you gave them good feelings to feel or you gave them not so good feelings to feel.
Exactly.
You get to get that back in return. That's that reaping and sowing concept,
Yep.
cause and effect.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so we let's see. Oh yeah, we've got time for some more, and these are little short clips. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do another one real quick. How's it sound?
Sounds good to me.
And depending on how much time we got, we'll take it from there. We might be able to get another one or two. We'll see.
Sounds good.
Okay, and we are rolling.
Seeing how I conducted myself at times was painful. I felt more pain when I saw myself inflict pain on another. I think that is the hell people speak of.
Okay, and we are back. Now that one was very, very short, even
Short to
shorter.
the point.
Yeah, and very to the point. But there's a very, very powerful takeaway from it. Did you get it?
Yes, I think I did. I hear a lot of people speak of hell on earth, but she said inflicting pain on others and everything. She said she felt that was the hell people spoke of.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what kind of caught my attention. You know, she realized, I mean, the pain that she felt inflicting pain on others.
Yeah, she had to
Well
relive
said.
that. I mean, that is just what we're seeing so much in these stories is you get to relive the experience from the other person's point of view.
It's the perfect remedy. It's the perfect
It's
purging.
the purge. Yeah.
And like she says, I think, and quote, like you said, she said, quote, I think that this is the hell that people speak of.
Yeah. And I hear it so much too, you know, that hell is here on earth. I mean, I guess I can see that now that I'm out of religion, that we do cause our own hells.
You create your own hell.
Yeah. But we can also create our own heaven. And people have to realize that there are two sides to that.
Right.
You are in control of your choices, your emotions, your state of being at all times. Don't give that power to somebody else.
That's right. That's right. Well said.
You just can't do it. I mean, I'm guilty myself of doing it, but I mean, we really have to take back our authority or our power.
We've got time for some more. Let's go ahead and throw another one in real quick. How's that?
Throw down.
All right. And we are rolling.
A giant screen appeared next to us. It was so gigantic that I can naturally compare it to the large screens that used to be in the old drive-in theaters of the 40s, 50s, 60s, and early 70s. On this screen, in random order, different scenes of incidents that had happened in my life while here on earth were being played out. Jesus would select one scene, and it would expand to the point that it encompassed almost the whole screen. I could still see other scenes playing in the background around the edges of the main scene that we were reviewing. The scene we were reviewing was a most accurate depiction of an incident that I was involved in at that point in my life, and he questioned me as to why I did the things that I had done.
And we are back. Well, one of the first things I've noticed is the classic giant movie screen.
Yes, exactly. Me too. Me too. But I find this point interesting in his big giant screen was it's like he had one main screen playing and then you could see other life scenes playing like behind and around
And
the
this
main
one
one.
scene represented, it was like the main one that represented that moment.
That moment in his time. And he had the deity of Jesus in this one. So, and that Jesus was questioning him why he did what he did.
Right.
So I'm wishing there was a little more revealed with this one, so I could
I know.
get a sense of what was going
they are
on with
very
it, what the
short.
lesson was coming back with this, because you know a lot of the ones that we hear of Jesus is like they understood what you did, what you went through, and don't question why you did what you did.
This is one of the very first ones I've heard that he asked you why.
Why
did
you did
do
what
that?
you did, yeah.
Why you did what you did, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they don't, however, it's possible.
right. This is the first time I've heard of one, and like I said, we've heard and listened to a lot of these stories and read a lot of stories. That's the first of Jesus or the deity being questioning the guy why he did what he did.
Yeah.
Why you did what you did.
Interesting. Well, let's get another one.
Let's get another one in here.
Alrighty, and we are rolling.
It was so natural. We discussed my life while I relived, seems like portions of it, proceeding from oldest to younger and only stopping when I seemed to be uncertain of my own actions at the time. There were no condemnation, no right or wrong, complete acceptance and understanding with only one loving "don't you think you could have done it this way" type of comment. You judge yourself.
And another short one there. And we were back. I love it where he said there's no condemnation,
Exactly. Yeah.
no right or wrong, complete acceptance.
We hear that in a lot of stories.
Absolutely. But he also said, and
You judge
yeah,
yourself
you judge yourself, but he said that you, with a, don't you think you could have done
this
better,
way.
or just don't you think you could have done better? Not a certain way that they don't. I don't know if they tell you to go. Don't you think you could have done it this way?
Right.
A lot of you
Done
hear
better.
is, don't
Okay,
you? You could have done better. And that is what a loving parent would do. Well, son, you could have done a lot better. Then they're gonna say, well, you know what? I'm so disappointed in you. I got the fires cooking in the backyard, and you disappointed me so much, son. I'm gonna go cook you. So I'm gonna burn you, and not only that, I'm gonna torment you from here on out because you disappointed me. You see, whereas someone of love, a father of love, it would be, you know what? I still love you, son. I'm disappointed. You could have done it. You could have done a lot better. Now, don't or like it's brought out here. Don't you think you could have, you could have done better?
Yeah.
So, and that alone will work on somebody. If you think about that.
Exactly.
And again, like it's brought out, you judge yourself.
Yes, we hear that in so many of these stories that you are your own judge. You get to feel everyone else's feelings that you hurt. And that's the beauty in it. You are purged. You get to relive it.
Yeah.
But see from the other person's point of view.
And that's the key, from someone else's view. If you did anything in this world, in this lifetime, that on this plane, what we call Earth, anything that you do, if you would know the effect of how it's going to affect that other person, I would probably go out on a limb and say you have probably about a 99.999% chance that you wouldn't do anything to that person to begin with. If you knew exactly how they felt. The reason a lot of people do things is either they're so not tuned into others, which we learned that's called apathy, okay? Or they just don't care about others. They're so into their own issues, their own world, their own lives. They don't pay attention to nobody.
Yeah, caught up in the moment, all about them.
Yeah,
I'm going to get my point across, and whether you like it or not, then that's just the way it is. We all have to. Well, I have things that I know I'm going to be very remorseful for. I mean, I
All of
already
us.
do on this side of the veil, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like on the other
I
side.
know. I don't even want to imagine. But we're all going to have to go through it, regardless of
Exactly.
what it is. Yes. So we're looking at the time. We've got time for some more since these are small little baby clips. Let's go ahead and roll another one. How's that?
Baby clip, get us another baby clip.
And we are rolling.
I underwent what has been called the life review process, for I saw my life from beginning to end all at once. I participated in the real-life dramas of my life, almost like a holographic image of my life going on before me, no sense of past, present, or future, just now and the reality of my life. It wasn't as though it started with birth and ran along to my life at the University of Moscow. It all appeared at once. There I was. This was my life. I didn't experience any sense of guilt or remorse for things I'd done. I didn't feel one way or another about my failures, faults, or achievements. All I felt was my life for what it is. And I was content with that. I accepted my life for what it is.
Another nice little short clip there of a life review experience. Miss Daphne, any comments?
I was going to hand it over to you.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, again, they all start out with the line. It took place from the beginning to the end, all at once. A lot of times they say that it's not linear, as we understand it.
Right, that's what I was picking up too.
Everything's all at once. Sometimes even on a 360 screen, It just depends on how it's revealed to you, but that review appears in many different forms.
Exactly.
I think he said his was more of a holographic and in the now. Did you catch that?
Yes.
And again, it was non-linear and all at once.
Yeah, it was the all at once. It was no sense of the past. It was just all in the moment.
We hear that a lot, absolutely. Yeah. And the beauty of it, no guilt, no
That's-
remorse.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. It was no guilt, no remorse, nothing for faults or anything. It was live your life for what it is.
Absolutely. He felt life for what it is.
Yeah, that's there's beauty in that. I mean, it takes away the fear. When we really listen to these over and over and over, and you hear these stories, it takes away that fear where it says, fear God, fear God, fear God. Well, this is a different aspect of it. This is taking away that fear that, okay, I don't have to fear, because if God is love, then there's no fear in love.
That's right.
I mean, really think about this. People.
You have to do a
are
lot
conditioned.
of reframing.
You really do.
You really need to reframe the words and how you use them.
Yeah.
Even God, when you're talking about God to someone, I would get clear on exactly what that person's concept or idea of
Yes.
what God actually is.
Exactly. I'm the same way. Now when I speak with someone of things like that, well, what is your concept of God? Because my concept of God was, when I was in religion, was, okay, there's a place up in heaven, there's a throne, there's a old man with long beard and
pearly
white hair,
gates and
pearly gates, shining, glowing, somebody sitting beside him, a bunch of angels around, a man sitting on a throne in heaven. That was my concept of what God was. But now it's like, that's not my concept.
One of the most disturbing, deceiving, I don't want to call it evil, but it's definitely deceptive teachings that ever came out of the church world was the invention of the God-man, Jesus. And, historically, the character that a lot of this was, based on never once claimed to be God, never once wanted to be worshipped, and he knew how to reach those levels of consciousness and those levels of love, and he taught us how to do that ourselves.
Exactly.
How we can all be part of this oneness, how we can all be that one. And then, when you see what the church has done, and they've turned him into that, and then they said that God is a trinity. I mean, do you know how sickening that sounds when you want to put the all and into a box and say it is a trinity, and it's only God is only God, and then Jesus is only God's Son, and then God's Spirit? That is it's pure demonic.
It's
The
putting
truth
God
is,
in a box.
everything is God. You are God. Jesus was God. I wouldn't say that the God man that's made up in the Bible. You have to really get, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes.
Break down your own belief system.
Do your own research and look into it, because I'm not going to talk about something I don't really know what I'm talking about. I will say something now. I'll choose and decide whether or not I want to take and go down that rabbit hole. But I'm very educated in a lot of that stuff, and I had to, because I've been in this stuff for 40 plus years. I'd be happy to say probably closer to 50 plus. So, but the point is, do your own research. Really know what it is that you believe, know what it is you're getting into, and things like that. But back to the actual subject at hand, I love the life reviews because it's a totally flip of the coin, or whatever expression you want to use, of heaven and hell. That you're going to be tortured for eternity for the a few sins you've committed here on earth.
There's
and
so many that have come back with their stories that there's no religion on the other side.
You hear that a lot.
No
yes.
religion, no dogma on that side.
There's not. Only love.
There's no hell, there's no heaven. It's just
love.
Love and energy.
Yeah. So if you want to fight and defend your religion, then so be it. But the point is,
do so.
It's not going to mean anything on the other side. It's all about oneness and love and connection with all. So, well, I tell you what, looking at the clock, it's right about time we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, Miss Daphne. So I've enjoyed that session of kind of, going over some of those life reviews, and we've got some really great episodes coming up. And one final plug, don't forget, if you have ever had a near-death experience, or perhaps you may know someone who has had a near-death experience, go to NDE.world and contact us. We would love to have you on our podcast as a guest, and it's just a simple phone call interview. It's nothing to it. It's very simple. You can do everything from your home, but we'd love to hear your story. So I guess I hate to close everything up, but with the time that it is, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. But don't worry, we'll be back.
And of course, if you haven't had an NDE, just extraordinary experience.
Absolutely, yeah, and you remind me of that a lot too. That's good. That's what I got you for.
You gotta remember to put it in there because not everybody has had NDEs, and this is NDE World where we cover the spiritual side of things. So if you've had extraordinary experience, spiritual awakening, something you want to share with us, we would love to hear your story.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and in fact, we've got a guy coming on that's had actually an OBE, an out of body experience, but it wasn't an NDE.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's pretty wild. So I can't wait to get him on as well.
It's more of a distressing one as well. So.
Yeah, as well. But it is an OBE. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be an NDE. But anyway, go to NDE.world and contact us. We'd love to hear your story. Okay.
Yes. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Perfect. We love you all. Yes. Peace be with you. And until next time,
let your light shine.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.